Hi everybody. I'm not in my truck camper this week. I'm actually driving my daughter's Subaru outside of Las Vegas, and I'm about to take a hike. But I wanted to talk to you guys about redefining bravery. About 4 years ago, I radically changed my life and I moved into a truck camper with my 2 dogs. And I have gotten so many compliments by well-meaning, wonderful people telling me that I'm brave. And, it does warm my heart and it makes me feel good, but I don't really think of myself as brave. I thought it was an act of desperation because I was not living the life I felt like I was meant to live. So for most of my life, I was living in fear, and that's the opposite of brave. I felt like everybody on the earth was better than me. Everybody. I was insecure. I had imposter syndrome, and time was running out. I was middle-aged. My kids were on their own. I spent years just being very, very unhappy and depressed. So I made a radical change. Let me get on this hike and we'll discuss more. My son recommended this trail, Robbers Roost Trail in the Spring Mountains National Recreation Area in Nevada. It leads to a cave where legend has it robbers used to hide in the 1880s. It's a short hike with great views and rock climbing. Okay, confession time. I did not have this map before I started and underestimated its importance. You'll see why. When you start to put a dream into action, a lot of fears can come up. For me, some were practical, like, what if I sell everything and hate living on the road and can't afford a house anymore? But some fears came up against my deepest core of self. I had to start living as my authentic self, and what if people didn't accept me? What if they judged me? I had a scary fear in my younger years that if people truly knew who I really was, they would run away screaming. Now, all of those fears were coming up again. Hiking is one of my absolute favorite things to do. I love coming out west because there's so many opportunities for hiking in gorgeous, gorgeous areas that aren't super crowded. I really appreciate you watching. 83% of you aren't subscribed yet, and it would mean so much if you considered hitting that button. It helps me out a ton and allows me to keep creating more content for you. Thanks so much. This trail is a lot steeper than I thought it would be. Okay. So this might be a good spot to just take a break and talk to you guys. When I chose this lifestyle, I had to overcome a lot of insecurities and fears that I had. And I guess that can be considered brave, right? I had a lot of trauma in my younger life, and I had to face that and get rid of a lot of shame, get rid of a lot of judgment and criticism that I've had about myself in order to live the life I wanted to live. I had to start loving and accepting myself, which I never did. I always thought that I was inferior to everybody in the world. And the first time I did an ayahuasca ceremony, this whole what I've done for growth and healing probably should be another video, but I'll just skim through this. I got the message that thinking you're inferior to everybody is the same as thinking you're superior to everybody, because you're separating yourself from everyone. And we're not meant to be divided and separated from everyone. Like, I truly believe we're all connected and we all have so much more in common than we have different. So by thinking I was inferior, I was isolating myself from everybody, and that is never good. Bad things happen when we isolate ourselves. We need people. We are pack animals. We need people. I also had to accept who I was. And generally, down deep in my heart, I am an introvert. And I've carried a lot of shame and judgment about myself for being an introvert. When I was growing up, my parents are very much extroverts, and so are my brothers. And I was like the oddball. So I always felt like something was wrong with me. If I wanted to spend time alone, my mom would come to my room and be like, "Why aren't you out? Why aren't you playing? Why don't you go call Sandy, your friend Sandy, or go play with Nancy?" Or like I just couldn't chill in my room. I think she was trying to help me and thought I needed to be extroverted. I needed to be social. But, not everybody needs to be the life of the party. And I couldn't really accept that about myself. I thought something was wrong with me because I wasn't social, that I needed to be alone to decompress. I remember when I was little, my parents would have parties, and we had a pool in our backyard. So in the summertime, they would have these big barbecues, and I would just get totally overwhelmed because there's so many people and everybody's loud. My family's very loud and yelling and laughing and very, very loud. And halfway through, I would have to go hide away just to decompress. So I would either sneak off to my room, or I had a really cool clubhouse that my dad made me in the backyard. And I love that clubhouse. I would sneak off to my clubhouse, and I would be extremely anxious because I knew it was only a matter of time till somebody came and hunted me down and been like, "What are you doing here? You shouldn't be here. You should be out there with the party, enjoying our company. That's not right. That's not healthy." I'm not blaming my parents. They did the best that they could, and they had a lot of trauma in their childhoods that was never dealt with. And I ended up with a lot of trauma in my childhood that I dealt with. And, that stuff doesn't really go away. It's still a part of you. But yeah, I've grown so much. I've accepted it. If you have a lot of trauma in your childhood that's still hard to accept, there's a road to go down. I went through periods of blaming, but blaming just keeps you stuck. It was not your fault, but you still have to take responsibility for where you are in your life. And if you're not where you want to be, because you're still holding on to so much stuff, it's not easy, but you can make your life so much better and become a happier person. Okay, making a pit stop here because I have to pee. And I brought along a trusty friend that is my companion when I have to pee out in the wild. And I'll show you him. This is a pee style, but it allows women to pee standing up. So it's a pretty cool invention. Takes up no space in my pack. I peed on my hiking shoes before, and this allows you to not. And you can use this to wipe yourself, so you don't even need to bring toilet paper. So let me discreetly do this. Yay! Oh yeah, oh yeah. Okay. And I just clean it off with a little bit of water and put it back in my pack. That's it. I'll link this thing down below if you're interested. I'm not sponsored. I just love the product, and it's only $12. Well worth it for not peeing on your shoes. So I just told you guys that I've done some psychedelics for healing, and I just want to say I don't think you need to do psychedelics for healing. There's other things that you can do for healing, but it was instrumental for me. It's just a tool. Like, it could show you things, and if you're not ready to see them, then they're not going to help you. They might scare you. You might push them away more. I think for me, I was able to see myself without my ego. So just that insight of thinking I'm inferior to everyone, or the insight of showing me that I'm not truly loving myself. And when I look in the mirror, I'm always criticizing myself. It's just a tool. And then I bring it back into my life and I work on it. It's not necessary, but it is a powerful tool. Like everything else, like therapy, like medication, like meditation, like self-care, self-love. It just brings you further to where you want to be. So I haven't done psychedelics in a long time. 2021 was my year of psychedelics. I'm not being called right now. That's a very woo-woo spiritual term. But it was very, very powerful. I had to embrace my introversion, and this lifestyle I think is perfect for someone who's introverted. And that doesn't mean if you're extroverted that you would not be a good fit. That's not true. There's people that are extroverted that are nomads, and if you like being around people all the time, you can travel with your partner or a group or go to a lot of meetup groups. There's so many ways to do this lifestyle. I do enjoy being with people, but I enjoy being alone. There's a big difference between being alone and being lonely. I'm alone a lot, but I don't feel like I'm lonely. When I get on the road and it's just my dogs and I on the open road, I am so elated, so happy, so welcoming of the possibilities that are coming our way. The people we're going to meet, the places we're going to stay at. It's such an adventure. It's one of my favorite things to do. I think society glorifies extroverts. There's a lot of positive words about extroverts, like outgoing, dynamic, charismatic, leader. It just paints a picture of confidence and success, where people might refer to introverts as shy, quiet, timid, reserved, or even antisocial or odd or weird, which implies that something's wrong with them. And if you're an introvert and you can relate to anything I'm talking about, please leave it in the comments. I would love to hear your story. Even in school, there's always team sports and group projects and team leadership. And the kids that are more introspective and would rather work in smaller groups or be by themselves, they might get a lower grade or get looked down on because they're not being a team player. I remember in high school and in elementary school at gym class, I would always fear group sports because I didn't like sports. Kids didn't want me on their team because I was not a good volleyball player or basketball player. There should be alternatives for kids that are like that and not be put in that position where they feel like something is wrong with them. And then other kids can make fun of them because of that. If children were accepted and loved for who they are, this world would be such an amazing place, right? We all deserve that. Even if it's just from you, to accept and love who you are. It's transformed my life. I made a wrong turn. I'm not going the right way. I don't have any service. I didn't download the All Trails offline maps because I thought it's a popular trail. How can I get lost? Yeah, I got lost. Hiking can be really confusing if you don't have a map. It's really easy to get turned around in the woods, even on a short hike. I decided just to keep going. Just accept where I'm at. Enjoy where I'm at. It's the wrong trail. It's the wrong trail. I can always just turn around and go back the way I came. No big deal. A sign! Look, I am on the wrong trail. I wanted to take Robber's Roost, which is back that way. What's cool though is that there's nobody else here, so I don't feel self-conscious talking to you guys. Life is a whole bunch of ups and downs. I used to expect my life to be just smooth sailing, just happy. And when I would hit a bump in the road, it was like, why is this happening to me? In victim mode. And everything would come back from the past and what I was doing wrong. And it would just be this spinning circle. And I dig this hole and go into a depression. Every time I stop, I have all these flies crawling on me. They're not biting me, but it's a little unnerving. Flies crawling all over you. This too will pass. This too will pass. When I went through menopause at 50, yes, I said menopause. Menopause is like a dirty word in our society. We should be grateful to go through menopause. We're only one of 3 known species. The other 2 are whales that go through menopause. There's a purpose. We have a contribution to society of beyond our reproductive years. After I start menstruating at 50, probably a lot of my male viewers just turned off. I felt like I was getting old, and what do I have to look forward to? You know, my reproductive years are over. Like, I'm going to start growing weird hairs out of my chin and get all crusty. But that is so far from the truth. You have to live the best life at whatever age you're at. Aging is a privilege. And this has totally transformed the way I think of aging. It's a privilege that people younger that have died never ever got. So we should be grateful to age. And our society makes jokes about aging. You're over the hill. What have you got left to look forward to? Like, that is such crap. Don't buy into that. Adventure. Get out of your comfort zone. Because you're worth it. Because you were always worth it. Okay. Let me try to get myself out of this forest and start going back up the hill. I'm getting a huge workout going back up this hill that I wasn't supposed to go down in the first place. Oh well. I'll meet you at the top. Seeing it on the camera doesn't do it justice. And I'm getting out of breath at this elevation. Made it back to the car. A little out of breath. But made it. I took the wrong trail, but it's kind of a metaphor for life, right? It's not the destination, it's the journey. I'm sending all of you warm, fuzzy vibes and lots of love. I'm heading back to my daughter's now. This is my last day in Las Vegas. I have a 11 p.m. flight tonight. And I'll be reunited with my dogs and my camper at the airport. So excited about that. Sad to leave my daughter and my granddaughter, my son and my son-in-law. But I'll be back again. Thank you all for coming along. And please leave comments if anything I said resonated with you guys. I love your comments. I love to hear your stories. It makes my day. It makes my life. It's the reason why I started this YouTube channel.